Hello, this is Kevin Breding, Fitness Coordinator for Campus Recreation at the University of Wyoming. Thanks for tuning in for a strength and conditioning workout. This can be done with just body weight exercises or just body weight with an empty space. I have these bars here just to give me a platform to view my workout on as I describe everything. Your warm-up, we're going to do 1 to 2 rounds, 30 seconds on the first 2 exercises, and a minute on the next 2 exercises. Overhead reach with a forward step. Take a forward step. I'm going to keep this heel, this back heel, pretty close to the ground, but if it lifts up, that's okay. I'm going to drive my hips or my belt buckle forward as I reach overhead with big hands. I'm going to alternate that forward step. That's for about 30 seconds, maintaining length in the spine, pushing my hips forward. And then a lateral lunge, which is with an outside reach. I'm going to step sideways and unlock my hips behind me. And I'm going to reach, if I step right, my opposite hand, so my left hand reaches forward and my right hand reaches behind me. Step back to center, do the same thing on the other side. Side to side, lead the way with the hip into the lunge, and then reach through our trunk, through our thoracic spine, let our shoulder blades separate from each other as we go into that shape. Number 3 is a downward dog with another trunk rotation. If I establish a plank, downward dog, step outside my hand, and then if I can, I'm going to aim this inside or the same side elbow to the ground, rotate on top, back to plank, downward dog, other side. Take your time on this one, and cycle through a minute worth of that. And then our 4th movement of the warm-up is a narrow to a rotational squat. My hands can reach forward to help me counterbalance my squat, but my footprint is narrow and my hips go behind me in that squat. And I'm going to take one foot and just swing it open into a wide sumo squat. Step back to center, sumo squat on that side. Pretty smooth, pretty purposeful in this last task of the warm-up. And then we jump into the main set. It's 6 exercises. Depending on how much time and your fitness level and all that stuff, you can adjust this as you go, but I'll include some general guidelines in the description of the workout. But the first movement is a single leg plank walkout. If I stand on one foot, I'm going to just depress myself and catch myself on the ground, walk into a plank. There's an optional push-up here, return, and try to balance on that leg on the stand-up. 4 to 6 reps each leg would be great there. Number 2, a split stance, stationary lunge. I'm going to progress this one, I'll give you options. The first starting spot is to establish a split stance. And notice, I'm not on a tightrope. I want to have enough base of support to keep me steady. I can just do an elevation change down. I don't care how deep that knee goes. It doesn't have to get all the way to the ground, but it can. Progression is to stand up a little bit on that forward foot. Progress again, we can drive the back knee up and then catch. And then the final progression is a little hop. And we do this on one leg for a period of time, or reps, and then switch feet. Standard push-ups. If you're on the ground, great. Have a good strong plank. Roll your elbows to face forward. And that's your push-up. Regressions, of course, are on the knees. Or one foot, one knee to help. It's kind of an intermediate transition from one side to the next. And we can bring that up if you have a desk available, if you have a wall available. Say this is a desk. I can make that push-up appropriate for me, even by using a foot to help fine-tune the height or the ability of that push-up. Next, we're going to go back to the ground if we can. A forward crawl. Oh, let me back up. Squat wave jumps. This is what I'm thinking. Neutral stance this time. Feet are underneath our hips. 1 squat, 2 squat, and the 3rd squat has a little more juice. And that juice can be as much as you need. 1, 2, jump on the 3rd one, catch it, and then reset. 1, 2, jump. Okay. If you can't get off the ground on that, 1, 2, it's the catch that I want you to accent if jumping is intimidating. But do what you're able. Forward crawl. Progression. I just want to go down, catch myself on the ground, and then push myself back up. To add a locomotion to it, then we can take a few crawl steps. Stand back up. Take a few crawl steps backward, and stand back up. Travel, use the space. If you can crawl 5 or 6 times, great. And then skaters. Step, and then let that trail leg swing behind you. Step, let the other trail leg swing behind you. Maintain length in your spine. And if I need to touch that foot on the ground to help catch my balance, great. Or you can really get into it and reach with that back foot as you reach forward with your hand to help drive that motion. That's the workout section. Into the cool down. After you've performed 1 to 4 rounds of that workout, I want you to do a standing knee hug. So you're starting to relax, you're starting to breathe on purpose. If you need a balance support, use it. A knee hug, pulling your knee towards your chest. If you can stay there for 15 to 30 seconds, great. And then switch legs and do the same thing. A lateral lunge again. We're going to lead the way with the hips. And if we can just sit here, great. I was looking at my cat, say hi to my cat. I can catch myself on this leg, and I can use that as an anchor to rotate behind and look at that. I should feel a pretty solid stretch on the inside of that long leg. I want both feet in ground, with ground contact on there, so I can really sink into that hip-driven stretch. And then finally, a half kneeling. I would use a pad if it was me and I was actually doing this workout, but I'd have a half kneel stance, drive my belt buckle forward, and I can reach up there. And I would stay here again for 15 to 30 seconds if you can. Same thing on the other side. That's our workout. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy.